Welcome to video 3 in our 10-part series designed to help home buyers enter the real estate market prepared. Now, we've talked about building your real estate team, things to consider when starting your home search, and now we're going to get into seeing those houses that you've identified as your possible home. Well, you've found some potential homes online, you've gotten your agent lined up, and now it's time for the most exciting part, actually walking through these properties and finding your future home. But here's what most buyers don't recognize. The showing process is where people make their most expensive mistakes. I'm David Karras, and in this video, I'm going to be walking you throughout the complete showing strategy that professional investors use, not the approach that costs first-time home buyers thousands of dollars in negotiations or leads them to buy a home that they end up regretting. Now, you'll learn exactly how many houses to see in a day without getting overwhelmed, how to bring kids to showings without losing your mind, what to look for that most buyers miss, the critical things you should never say during a showing, how to score and remember every property, why you need to visit neighborhoods at different times, and how to make your final decision with confidence. Sounds like a lot, but don't worry, I'll get you through it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to tour a home strategically, how to maintain your negotiation power, and find the right home without stress and confusion that overwhelms most buyers. And if you're finding this series helpful, if you could hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications, we're going to be building the most comprehensive home buying guide on YouTube, and you don't want to miss a single step. Now that you've found some potential homes online and scheduled your showings, let's talk about how to approach the showing process strategically. Most buyers make critical mistakes during showings, mistakes that either cost them their dream home or thousands of dollars in negotiations. I'm going to show you exactly how to tour homes like a professional investor, not an excited first-time home buyer. Let's talk about planning your showing strategy, the 4 to 5 house rule. Okay, here's one of the most common mistakes I see buyers make, trying to see too many houses in one day. And let me tell you what happens. After viewing more than 4 or 5 properties, everything starts to blend together, even for your real estate agent. You'll find yourself saying things like, wait, which one had the updated kitchen? Or was that the house with a nice backyard? Or was that the other one? Right? You're going to have these dialogues. Your brain simply can't process more than that effectively. The sweet spot of 4 to 5 houses gives you enough options to compare without overwhelming your brain. You can actually remember the details of each property, the layout, the condition, the feel of the space, the smell. Any more than that, and you're doing yourself a disservice. Now, why does this number work? Well, you can take your time at each property. You maintain focus and attention to detail. You remember distinguishing features. You can make meaningful comparisons, and you can avoid decision fatigue. Now, let's talk about quality over quantity. Remember, house hunting isn't a marathon. It's about finding the right home, not seeing the most homes. Take your time, stay focused, and schedule multiple showing days if you need to see more than 4 or 5 properties. Now, before showing day, you got to research each property online thoroughly, right? You want to know specific things to look for based on the listing details. Write down questions about unclear photos or description reviews, right? Reviews must have a checklist, right? Prepare your showing bag, notebook, phone, charger, tape measure, snacks, all of that. Now, if you're planning to see more than 5 homes, spread them across multiple days. Trust me, your brain and your decision-making ability will thank you. Now let's talk about bringing kids to showings. I'm going to give you the complete survival guide. First step, just leave them at home. I'm just kidding. But let's be real. Sometimes you have no choice but to bring the kids along. Maybe you don't have childcare. Maybe your partner's working, or maybe you want the kids to be part of the decision-making process. Whatever the reason, here's how to make it work without losing your mind or sabotaging your house huntings. Now, set expectations. Before you leave, have a conversation with the kids before the first showing, right? This isn't optional. This is critical. Sit them down and explain. All right, talk to them what you'll be doing, right? We're going to be looking at some houses we might move to. How many houses will we see? Well, we're going to see 3-4 houses today. How long will each take? Well, each house will take 20 to 30 minutes plus driving time. What behavior you expect? Well, we need you to walk carefully, don't touch anything, and use quiet voices. What the reward will be. If you're patient and behave well, we'll stop for ice cream after or something like that, right? Set clear, specific expectations. Kids do better when they know exactly what's expected of them. Now, pack the entertainment kit. This is non-negotiable. Bring a dedicated bag with a tablet or your phone, something that has games, videos, or movies. Headphones so they're not blasting noise during the showing. Bring a favorite quiet toy, nothing that makes noise or rolls. Bring coloring books and crayons, books, things like that. A special toy they only get during house hunting. Keep it a novel and special. And make sure everything is fully charged before you leave. There's nothing worse than a dead iPad 20 minutes into your day. Now, snacks, absolutely non-negotiable. Hungry kids are cranky kids. Cranky kids are annoying kids. Nobody wants a hungry, angry, cranky kid. And cranky kids make house hunting impossible. Pack a healthy snack that aren't messy, like crackers, granola bars, fruit pouches, water bottles for everyone. A few special treats as incentives for good behavior. If you're patient at this house, you can have a cookie in the car, right? On the snacks, they do stay in the car. Avoid anything sticky, crumbly, or that could stain. You don't want juice spilled on someone's carpet. Right? Build in breaks. Do not try to power through 5 showings without breaks. Kids can only handle so much. Schedule something like a park stop between houses 3 and 4, right? Every 15 minutes to run around and let them get some energy out. Whatever. A quick ice cream or snack break to stretch legs and burn energy. Plan some bathroom breaks ahead of time as well. This makes the day manageable for everyone, including you. And make sure you coordinate with your real estate agent so they can plan them into your day. Instead of expecting kids to just follow along quietly for hours, give them jobs. This makes them feel involved and keeps them focused. For older kids, 7 and up, have them count how many bedrooms this house has. Find the biggest closet. Pick which room would be yours and tell me why. Rate the house between 1 and 10 based on if you would want to live here. For younger kids, ages like 3 to 6, can you find the kitchen? How many bathrooms can you count? Do you see any toys in this house? All right. If there's nothing in the house, find something else, right? Making them part of the process helps them stay engaged instead of bored and disruptive. The one house rule. Here's the reality, right? If you can avoid bringing kids to every showing, you should absolutely do so. The best approach would be to have a partner, a family member, or a trusted babysitter watch the kids while you do initial showings. Maybe do it while they're in school. Narrow it down to your top 1 or 2 choices, then bring the kids to see those finals. This way, you can focus during initial showings. You won't feel rushed or distracted, and kids only have to endure 1 or 2 showings. You get their genuine reaction to the top choices. They feel included in the final decision. If you must bring them every time, keep showing short, 20 to 30 minutes max per house. Schedule showings during their best times, right? Not nap time, not hunger time. Tag team with your partner. One focuses on the house, one manages the kids. Lower your expectations. You won't catch every detail. Plan to revisit the top choices alone for a closer look. The reality check. Some showings just won't work with kids, and it's okay to reschedule for a better time. Split the day into smaller chunks. Ask your agent to do a video walkthrough first. Bring a helper specifically to manage the kids. Your sanity and your ability to evaluate homes properly is worth the extra planning. Now let's talk about what to do during the showing and what to look for. So you've scheduled your showings. You know how many you're going to see. You've got your kids handled. Now let's talk about what you should actually be looking for when you walk through the door of each of these homes. This is where a lot of buyers get distracted by petty staging, and mysterious red flags that will cost them later. Here's what you need to understand. Staging is designed to distract you from flaws that make you fall in love. Professional stagers are brilliant at using furniture, lighting, and decor to hide problems and make spaces look bigger and better than they are. Don't let it work too well. Focus on the bones of the house, not the beautiful furniture. Imagine that house completely empty. Would you still love it? What to actually evaluate when you're walking through these houses? You need to look at structure and systems like the foundation. Look for cracks in the foundation walls, especially horizontal or stair-stepping cracks. Those are the ones that go like this. They look like steps. Check for uneven or sloping floors. Do doors and windows close properly? Any gaps in the walls where they meet the ceilings? Look at the roof and attic if accessible. Check the age and condition of the roof. Look at ceilings for water stains. Ask when the roof was last replaced. Let's talk about the HVAC. How old is it? Does it seem adequately sized for the house? Are there vents in every room? Ask about recent service or repairs. Next, look at the water heater. Check the age. Look for the manufacturer date on the label. Is it appropriately sized for the household? Is it tank or tankless? Gas or electric? Now let's talk about electrical. Does the house have a modern circuit breaker panel, or is it an old fuse box? Are there enough outlets in each room? Do light switches work properly? Any flickering lights? Check for aluminum wiring. That's a fire hazard in older homes. Knob and tube as well. Let's talk about plumbing. Turn on the faucets in every bathroom and kitchen. Check water pressure. Flush every toilet. Look under the sink for leaks or water damage. Do drains empty quickly? Any visible pipe corrosion? Ask about the age of the plumbing system. Probably going to be original. Beyond checking off bedrooms and bathrooms, really evaluate the floor plan. Does the layout make sense for you and how you live? Is there enough storage throughout the house? Do the room sizes actually meet your needs? Rooms photograph bigger than they are sometimes. And how do traffic patterns flow? Do you have to walk through bedrooms to get to the bathroom? Is the kitchen positioned well relative to the dining and living areas? Are bedrooms clustered together or are they spread out? Is there a dedicated entryway or do you walk straight into the living room? Where would your furniture actually go? Bring a tape measure and measure things out. Stand in each room and really visualize. Can you envision your furniture here, your daily routines, your life in this house? Look for signs of deferred maintenance. These are warning signs that the home has not been well maintained. Peeling or bubbling paint could indicate moisture issues. Soft spots and floors could indicate water damage or structural issues. Windows that don't open, close, or lock properly. Doors that stick or don't close fully. Cracks in walls or ceilings. Minor cracks are normal, okay? But large and numerous cracks are red flags. Loose or damaged handrails or stairs worn or damaged flooring. Gutters pulling away from the house. Overgrown landscaping. Blocking foundation or windows. Some of the details that matter here include cell phone reception, right? Do you need to have Wi-Fi or does your cell work? Walk through the entire house and check your signal. Try making a call from different rooms. Check both your carrier and your partners. If there's different poor cell signal reception, could be a deal breaker for emergencies. Look for natural light. Visit at different times of the day if possible, right? Are rooms dark and cave-like, or are they light and airy? Which direction do the main rooms face? South-facing rooms get more sun. Are there enough windows? Are windows blocked by neighboring structures or trees? Look for noise. Stand quietly in different rooms and listen. Can you hear the neighbors through the walls? Can you hear traffic noise from nearby roads? How about airplane noise? Commercial or industrial sounds? Does the HVAC system make a loud noise? Next, you want to look for storage spaces. Open every closet and cabinet. Is there enough storage space for your needs? You need to measure closets if you have specific storage requirements. Check for basement or attic storages if there are some. Is there a garage, a shed, an outbuilding for additional storages? Let's talk about a reality check real quick. Storage is almost always less than you think, and you'll fill it faster than you expect. Trust your senses, okay? This is important. Pay attention to what your body is telling you. Think about the smell. Does anything smell off when you walk in? Pet odors, cigarette smoke, mildew, mold. There's strong air fresheners or candles out. Often that means that they're covering something. Are there chemical smells that could indicate recent renovations? Use your eyes. Do things look off even if you can't pinpoint what? Mismatched repairs or paint. Stains that have been painted over, right? Feel it. Does the house feel damp or humid? Is the temperature comfortable? Do you feel at ease or on edge? Your gut instinct is picking up on real things, even if you can't consciously identify them. Don't dismiss those feelings. Now, here are some things that you should test. Test light switches in every room. Test all faucets, hot and cold. All toilets. Flush and check for leaks. Showers and tub. Look for water pressure. Garage door opener. Does it open and close well? All the windows open and close, and do they lock? All doors. The thermostat. Doorbell. Garbage disposal. All that. Don't be shy about this. You're potentially buying this home. You have every right to make sure that these basic functions work. If you don't have time, don't worry about it. That's also what the inspection is for. Take photos and videos. Most agents and sellers are fine with you taking photos for your personal reference. Always ask permission first. Never post them online. Okay, take photos of each room from multiple angles, concerning areas or defects, the electrical panel, the water heater, the HVAC, views from windows, closets and storage, the yard and exterior, anything you want to remember or research later. These photos will be invaluable when you're comparing properties later. Your inspector will verify everything later if you make an offer, but your initial observations during the showing matter. They help you decide whether this house is even worth purchasing. Now take your time. Don't rush, and don't be afraid to ask questions or test anything. Things in your future home we're talking about should work, or you should know if they're not. Now, the critical rule, what not to say during showings. This might be the single most important thing I tell everybody when I do showings. And I've seen buyers cost themselves literally thousands of dollars, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars by saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. Think about the golden rule. Act like the walls have ears, okay? Because they probably do. Listing agents, sellers, neighbors, other buyers at open houses, you never know who's listening, who's within earshot, or what will get back to the other side during negotiations. I once had a buyer lose a deal because they said at an open house, "This is perfect. We have to have this house," right? The listing agent heard it, told the seller, and suddenly the seller wouldn't budge a penny on the price. Why would they? They knew the buyers were emotionally attached to and desperate, and they had to have the house. Never say things out loud like this. Never say your budget. Never say we could go up to $500K if we had to. This is at the top of our budget, but we'll make it work. We have more room to negotiate if needed, right? Our pre-approval is for X. We are planning to offer X. Why this kills you? If sellers know your maximum budget, they have zero incentive to accept less. You've told them exactly how much that they can squeeze out of you. Now, make sure you curb your enthusiasm. Never say something like this. "This is perfect. I love everything about this house. This is exactly what we've been looking for. We need to make an offer right away. This is better than anything we've seen all day. I can picture us living here already." Why this kills you? Well, emotional buyers are weak negotiators. If the seller knows that you're in love with the house, they won't negotiate. Why would they drop the price when you've already decided you'll pay anything to be in this house? Don't talk about your timeline or urgency. Never say anything like, "Our lease is up next month. We have to be out by a specific date. We need to close as soon as possible. We're in a hurry. Our kids start school in 2 months. We already sold our other house." Why this kills you? Well, desperate buyers pay more. If the seller knows you're under pressure, they'll use it against you in negotiations. Now, never talk about problems with your current situation. Never say things like this. "Our apartment is way too small for us. We're desperate to get out of where we are. We can't stand our current place anymore. Our landlord is terrible. The neighborhood we're in is awful. Why does this kill you? Again, you're revealing desperation. Desperate buyers have no leverage. Criticism that reveals your plans. Never say this. We'd knocked down this wall to open up the kitchen. It shows you're committed despite the issue. The kitchen needs work, but we can handle that. It shows it would not stop you. We'd probably repaint everything, but that's easy. It minimizes your concern. The yard needs landscaping, but we love gardening. It shows it's not a deal breaker. Why does this kill you? Well, you're telling the seller that their home's flaws won't prevent you from buying it. You just eliminated your negotiation leverage over those issues. Now, never do comparison to other properties, and this is why. Don't ever say the other house we saw was nicer, but this location is better. This is our second choice if the first one doesn't work out. We like the other house on Oak Street more, but it's above our budget. Now, why does this kill you? Well, you're revealing your cards. Now they know where they rank and how much competition they really have. Never discuss personal financial information. You never want to say things like, we just got a big bonus. My parents are giving us money for the down payment. We refinanced our car to have more cash. We're selling some investments to make this happen. Now, why does this kill you? Well, it shows that you have access to more money. Goodbye, negotiation room, right? Now, what to say instead? Right? Keep it neutral and vague. I'm going to go over some good phrases for you to use. Okay? Say something like interesting layout, good to see, nice neighborhood, thanks for showing us. We'll discuss with our agent. We need to think about it. We have a few other properties to see. These are courteous, but they never reveal anything about your interest level, your urgency, or your budget. The car is your safe space. I always tell my clients, talk in the car on the way to the next house. Save all real conversations for the car or when you're back home. Once you leave the property, it's okay. Now tell me what you really think. Here's what I loved and what concerned me. Let's talk numbers. Communicate with your agent privately. Do not discuss strategy in front of listing agents or sellers. Instead, text your agent your thoughts during or after the showing. Call them once you're back in your car or at home. Email your detailed thoughts later. Your agent knows how to position things strategically during negotiations. Let them do their job. At open houses, be extra careful. The listing agent is specifically there to gather information. They'll make small talk and ask seemingly innocent questions, but they're gathering information. Hey, how long have you been looking? What brings you to this neighborhood? Is this the style you're looking for? When are you hoping to move? Right? You want to be friendly but vague. They're fishing for information to help their seller, not to help you. Now, let's talk about the exceptions. Working with your own agent, right? When you're at a showing with your buyer's agent, not the listing agent, you can be a little bit more open, but still be mindful if the seller or listing agent is present. Wait until you're alone with your agent or in the car to speak freely. Remember, every word you say can cost you money. I cannot stress this enough. In negotiations, information is power. The less the seller knows about the situation, the more negotiation power you have. Think of it like poker. You don't show your cards until you have to. Keep your budget, your timeline, and your enthusiasm and your plans to yourself. Hold them like your deck of cards. When in doubt, say less. If you're unsure whether you should say something, don't say it. You can always share your thoughts later in private. You can never take back words that give away your position. Your agent will handle the talking during the negotiations. Your job during showings is to evaluate the property and keep your cards close to your chest. I've seen buyers save $10,000, $20,000, even $50,000 in negotiations simply because they kept their mouth quiet during showings and let their agent do the strategic talking. Don't give away your leverage for free. Also, remember the first person to give up a number always loses. Now, let's talk about a scoring system. Never forget a house again. Here's the game changer that separates smart buyers from overwhelmed buyers. Scoring each property immediately after you see it. I always tell my clients, I give them a piece of paper, write out a score, 1 to 10, okay, and score it. Without a system, by the time you've seen 4 or 5 houses, they all blur together. You'll find yourself saying, wait, which one had the finished basement? Or was the house with the great kitchen the one near the school, or was that the one by the busy street? A simple scoring system solves this problem completely. Score while it's fresh, the immediate post-showing debrief. Write notes about what you liked, what you didn't like. That way when you come back and say you liked this house, you can be like, well, you rated it a 4. Why is it now a 10? The more information that you write when you get back to the vehicle, just take 2 or 3 more minutes to write it all down. Not at the end of the day, just do it immediately. And here's why it matters. Your memory is sharpest right now. Details are fresh in your mind. Your emotional reaction is genuine, not influenced by other houses that you saw later. You can have an honest conversation with your partner while it's real. Now, here are things to look at when you're coming up with a score. Rate each house on things that matter the most to you personally. Everyone's criterias are different, so customize this must-haves and nice-to-haves on the list. Common strategies and scores, keep it simple, 1 to 10. Overall conditions are things that you want to look at. How well maintained is the property? Age and condition of major systems. Deferred maintenance visible. Score the layout and the flow. Does the floor plan work for your lifestyle? Does it have good traffic patterns? Functional room sizes. Then go break it down into location and neighborhood. How is the proximity to your work, to the school, to childcare, to amenities that you like? How's the street traffic and noise? Is it a traffic light there, or do you have to play Frogger to get across it? How's the neighborhood, right? Let's talk about outdoor spaces. Let's look at yard size and condition, privacy from neighbors, outdoor living potential. When you're rating the kitchen, think about things like size, layout, and functionality. Look at condition and age of appliances, storage and counter space. When you're looking at bathrooms, rate the number and the condition. Look at the size and the layout. Do you need to update them? Now let's talk about storage. Is there adequate closets? What about the basement and attic space? How about garage? What about natural light? Is it bright and airy or dark and dreary? Are window placements and size in a great place? Then rate your gut feeling. Can you picture yourself living there? Does it feel like home? And what are your instincts saying? Then you can look at rating the value for the price. Giving the asking price, does it feel fair compared to the other homes that you've seen? This is a simple approach. If you don't want 10 categories, keep it simple. Score just overall property, 1 through 10. Location, 1 through 10. Gut feeling, 1 through 10. Value, 1 through 10, right? Even this basic system will help tremendously. Even if you don't want to, you can just give it an overall score. Now, here's how to keep track. Method 1. Note-taking app on your or use your phone. Okay, create a note for each property. Include the address, specific asking price, scores, pros and cons, questions, things like that. Add photos you took. That way you can easily refer them. Step 2 is a spreadsheet. Create columns. Address, price, date, scene, score for each category. Total score, notes, sort by total score to see rankings easy to compare side by side. Method 3, a dedicated home hunting app. Apps like HomeSnap, Zillow, or Redfin let you save favorites and add private notes. Some let you create custom rating systems. Method number 4, old school notebook. Some people prefer pen and paper. Bring a small notebook dedicated to house hunting. Write scores and notes for each property. You want to pick whether or whatever method you'll actually use consistently. Okay. At the end of the day, review, circle back, and eliminate. At the end of your showings or that evening, sit down and review all of your scores together. This is when you circle back and eliminate anything that didn't make that final cut. Here are some questions to ask each other. Which houses scored the highest overall? Were there any automatic deal breakers? If there were, cross them off immediately. Which ones would you want to see again? Are there any that you can definitely eliminate? Do any surprise you, right? Higher or lower than you expected during the showing? If a house scored low across the board, it's an easy no. Cross it off. Don't waste your time or your mental energy on it. Keep your list focused. Don't keep 15 houses on your maybe list. That's overwhelming and unproductive. Narrow it down to 3 to 5 contenders, right? You might add some more, you might remove some. It's ever changing based off the houses you see. Research the homes more deeply. Visit again if possible. Consider making offers on it. Now, why this system works. Memory is unreliable. By the time you've seen 4 or 5 houses, your memory is of the first one is already fading and distorted. Your scores become your reliable reference point. You need to reduce emotion as well. Scoring forces you to evaluate properties objectively across consistent criteria. It enables comparison. You can directly compare house A to house B on specific factors. It creates clarity. When you see your score on paper, it's often immediately obvious which houses are front runners. It also helps prevent you having regret. You won't wonder later, should we have made an offer on that other house? Your score will remind you exactly why you passed on it. Now here's an added bonus. If you add photos to your scores, you can take those photos during each showing with permission and then attach them to your scoring notes. Then, when you're reviewing them later, the photos and the scores together give you that complete picture. You got to trust the system that you create. Once you've scored several properties, trust the data. If a house scored 6 of 10 overall and another scored 9 of 10, don't second guess yourself. Your gut might romanticize the lower scored house later, but your scores were created in the moment of full information. Now, a scoring system takes 3 minutes per house, but can save you hours of confusion and debate later. It transforms house hunting from an overwhelming blur into a clear, organized process. Now, you start using this system on your very first showing, and by the time you're ready to make an offer, you'll know exactly which house deserves your offer. Let's talk about evening and weekend neighborhood visits and why that kind of timing matters. Here's something most buyers don't think about, and it's crucial. The house you saw at 2 p.m. on Tuesday might feel completely different at 6 p.m. on a Friday or 10 a.m. on a Saturday. You need to see the neighborhood when people are actually living in it, not when everyone's at work and the streets are empty. The problem with weekday afternoon showings is this. During typical showing times, weekday afternoons, here's what's happening. You got everybody's at work, the kids are at school, streets are quiet, parking is abundant, no one's home to make noise, and traffic is minimal. Everything seems peaceful and perfect, but that's not reality. That's not what you'll experience living there. See the neighborhood when it is actually alive. To understand what it's really like to live in a neighborhood, you need to see it when residents are home. Weekday evenings, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. This is when people get home from work. This is when you'll hear if the neighbors are loud. This is when you'll see if parking becomes impossible. This is rush hour traffic, right? How bad does it actually get going to the house? Figure out from work in the house during this time as well. Now let's talk about weekend mornings, 9 a.m. to noon. Do families come outside? What's the weekend activity level? Do people maintain their properties? What's the Saturday morning vibe? Now, weekend afternoons, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Are the neighborhood gatherings happening? Do kids play outside? How active is the community? Are there loud parties or music? Now, let's talk about what to look for during evening and weekend visits. First thing we want to look at is noise level. Can you hear the neighbors through the walls? If it's a townhome or a condo especially, are there barking dogs? Is there loud music or TVs? What's the traffic noise that you didn't notice before? Nearby businesses that create disturbances after hours. Commercial areas with nighttime activity. Here's a reality check. A quiet street at 2 p.m. Tuesday might be a loud street at 7 p.m. on Friday when everyone's home watching TV with the windows open, dogs are barking, and teenagers are hanging out. Let's talk about parking and traffic congestion. Is street parking still available or is it packed? Do residents park on lawns because there's not enough parking? Is it difficult to get in and out of the neighborhood? How long does it actually take to get to the main road during rush hour? Are there traffic jams at neighborhood entrances? It's all things that you got to look at. Now, if the home doesn't have a garage or driveway, where will you park when all the residents are home? Now, let's talk about the community vibe and safety inside of that community. Do you see families outside? Are people walking dogs? Are they riding bikes? Are they playing with the kids? Does the neighborhood feel friendly and welcoming? Are there teenagers hanging out? Where? How? And do you see groups of people on porches or corners? Does it feel safe and comfortable? Would you feel comfortable walking your dog at dusk, going for an evening jog, letting your kids play outside, walking to your car after dark? Things to think about with safety includes lighting, right? How dark is the street at night? Is there adequate street lighting? Are there dark spots between houses? Do porches have lights? Do neighboring homes look occupied and well lit? Seeing a neighborhood at dusk or after dark tells you a lot about safety and atmosphere. Now, you need to go look at neighboring properties. During the day, you might have noticed if a neighbor's yard is filled with junk, cars. Are they on blocks? Are there aggressive dogs? In evenings and weekends, those visits, they reveal how neighbors actually maintain their properties. If there are eyesores you didn't notice before, is there noise levels from neighboring properties? Is there general pride in ownership? The weekend test, Saturday and Sunday mornings. This is when you see the neighborhood in its true character. Are yards well maintained? Do people take pride in their homes? Is there community interaction? Do people wave and say hello? What activities happen on weekends? Now, when you're doing this, you might notice yard work and maintenance being done, or lack thereof. Neighborhood kids playing together, community yard sales or events, people washing their cars, people gardening or improving their homes, neighbors chatting in driveways. This tells you about the community engagement and pride of ownership within that community. Now, another thing you should really do is test your actual commute. Don't just drive to work from the house once. Test it multiple times. Weekday morning rush hour, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., right? Drive from that house to your workplace. Time it accurately. Is this manageable or is it miserable? Let's look at weekday evening rush hour traffic coming home, 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. Drive from your work to the house. Traffic might be worse going this direction than going to work. Can you handle dealing with that daily? Now, let's talk about weekend errands. From the house that you're looking at, drive to the grocery store and that you'd visit, or the gas station, the pharmacy, the restaurants, the kids' schools, things like that. Are these convenient or are they frustrating? A 15-minute drive at noon on Sunday might be a 45-minute drive at 7 a.m. on Tuesday. This is critical information that affects your daily quality of life. Now, let's talk about the surprise visit strategy. For your top 1 or 2 contenders, do an unexpected visit. Drive by late evening, 9, 10 p.m. to check noise and activity. Visit very early Saturday morning, like 7 a.m. to see if neighbors mow lawns and make noise. Check out Sunday evenings when everyone's preparing for the week or during football season, right? Now, you're not being creepy, you're being smart. This is a huge investment and you need to have all the data you need to make that decision. Now, here are some things that you might discover. I've had clients discover that the neighbors' dogs that bark constantly didn't show during the weekday afternoon showing. The teenage next door who works on loud cars in the driveway every evening. Well, the nearby bar that creates parking chaos and noise on weekends. The main road that is a nightmare during rush hour but empty during the day. The neighborhood gatherings that block streets every weekend. The train tracks that are a mile and a half away, you can still hear the horn. Just a lot of different things can come up. Now, these are all deal breakers for some people, and you'd never know unless you visited at different times. Now, how many visits do you need to make? For houses you're seriously considering, minimum 1 evening visit, 1 weekend visit, Ideally, multiple visits at different times, morning, afternoon, evening, and weekend. For your top choice, as many visits as you need to feel confident. Don't skip this step. I cannot overstate how important this is. I've had buyers ready to make offers on homes and visit at night and completely change their minds because of what they discovered. I had one that bought a house, didn't realize what they were getting into, and we put it on the market a month later. It's better to have all that stuff figured out before you sign your contract. This simple step has saved countless buyers from making decisions they'd regret for years. Researching the area beyond the house is also important. Once you've narrowed down to your top choices, it's time to dig deeper into the surrounding area. Use Google Earth too. The house itself might be perfect, but the area determines your daily quality of life. Look at childcare and schools. If you have children or plan to have them, research things like nearby daycare options. You want to look for licensed in-home daycare centers. Look for wait list times. Some quality daycares have 6 to 12 month wait lists. You want to do cost comparison, hours of operations, parent reviews. If you're looking at preschools, look for options within reasonable driving distances, program quality and philosophy, and cost and ability. You want to look at school quality and ratings. Check sites like greatschools.org, niche.com, schooldigger.com. Look at test scores, student-teacher ratios, and parent reviews. Visit schools in person if you have children. Talk to the current parents about their experiences. Pickup time is a great time for that. School boundaries, look at them. Verify the exact address is in the school district you want. Boundaries can change, so check on pending changes. Some neighborhoods are split between different school zones. I have one that I sold a house in. One side of the street was in one school zone, and the other side of the street was in a different school district. Even if you don't have kids, school district quality affects resale value. Good schools equal higher property values and faster sales. Look at daily conveniences and amenities. How far are essential services? How far are grocery stores? What's the closest option? Is there quality and selection, or are you nitpicking some stuff because there's nothing there? Look at the drive time. Think about healthcare, hospital proximity for critical emergencies, your specific doctors and specific pharmacies. Look at gas stations and banks. All right, where are the ATMs at? Convenient locations. Are they safe and well-lit locations? Look for restaurants, coffee shops, shopping. Are there options you'd actually use? Are they walkable or do they require driving? Other things to consider: gyms, parks, and other recreational activities. Fitness centers or rec facilities, are they nearby? Are there parks for the kids and dogs? Walking trails for bike paths? Are there libraries? Are there community events? Is there a senior citizen or a senior center for you? Services that you regularly use: dry cleaning, hair salon, barber, a vet if you have pets, auto repair shops. The more you have to drive for daily needs, the more time and gas you'll waste. Factor this into your decision. Look for future development. What's coming? What's happening in the area can dramatically affect your property value and quality of life. If you see a large open area, check its zoning. Check with city planning departments. Visit their website or office and look for certain things. Look for zoning maps. Look for approved development projects. Look for proposed rezoning requests, master plans for the area, upcoming infrastructure projects. If they're widening a road, there's a reason they're doing it. Things to look for: positive developments, okay? New parks, new recreational facilities, quality shopping centers and restaurants, infrastructure improvements such as roads, utilities, public transportation, police stations, fire stations, corporate headquarters or major employers moving into the area or that are there, healthcare facilities, and mixed-use development. Here are some negative developments: industrial facilities, landfills or waste treatment plants, high-density housing apartment complexes, right? That could affect traffic and schools, adult businesses or establishments, right? Power stations, power substations, cell phone towers, windmills, facilities that could create noise and traffic. Look at empty lots and vacant lots. If you see empty land near the house, find out what could be built there. Check on the zoning, check on the commercial. Is it residential? Is it industrial? Is it commercial? Are there any pending permits or proposals that Nice view might become an apartment complex or a warehouse. I always tell my clients, if you have a green belt, just enjoy it while you got it, right? Ask the right questions. Is the area growing or is it declining? Is the population increasing or decreasing? Is there new construction happening or is it staying stagnant? Are businesses opening or are there a bunch of vacant offices? Home prices, are they appreciating or are they staying flat? Are they declining? Look at economic health. Look at major employers in the area. Look at industrial drivers, or are they single industry towns? Unemployment rate compared to the state, national averages, recent business developments. Look at infrastructure. Are roads adequate or constantly congested? Is there reliable utilities? Are there high-speed internet available? Good cell phone coverage. You checked this at the house already, right? Hopefully. Plans for road widening or improvements. Now, where to find this information? Local news sites and newspapers. Read about developmental proposals, city council meeting minutes, community concerns, and debates. You can go to the Chamber of Commerce. When you go to the chamber, look for the economic development information. Look for new businesses coming to the area. Look at neighborhood Facebook groups. Everybody's spilling tea on those things. Join groups for the specific neighborhood. Lurk for a few weeks and read discussions. Read what the residents are saying. They're often discussing changes, concerns, and issues. There's Karens all over the place in there. You get a good idea of what's going on. Your real estate agent can give you information too. Experienced local agents know what is in the pipeline. They hear about developments before they're public. They know which areas are trending up or down. Now, here are some red flags for area decline. If you're going around and you're seeing empty storefronts in commercial areas, declining population, major employers are leaving or closing facilities, deferred maintenance on public infrastructure, school closings or consolidations, increasing property tax rates without improving services, homes staying on markets for longer periods of time, and increasing crime rates. Now let's talk about some green flags for the area growth. Growing population, but not too fast, because growing too fast constrains infrastructure. Do they have diversified economy with multiple industries? Is there new businesses and restaurants opening? Is infrastructure investments rising? Are there rising home values? Are they consistently going up? Is there a declining crime rate? Is there corporate relocations coming to the area? Okay. It is imperative that you spend a few hours researching now to avoid years of regret later. A great house in a declining area is still a bad investment. An okay house in a thriving, growing area might be your best choice. Making your final decision, okay? After all your showings, scoring, evening visits, and research, it's time to make a decision. Compare your top choices objectively. Pull out your scores and your notes and your photos and look at them side by side. Things that you need to review: overall score across all categories, pros and cons list, photos from each property. Look at the notes that you took that evening, the weekend, when you were doing your visits, your research on each neighborhood, price and potential cost. Consider both immediate need and long-term plans. Don't just think about today. Think about where you plan on being in life year 5, year 10, year 15, year 20. Will this house still work for you if you have kids, if the kids leave for college? Can you age in place if needed? Is there room to grow into this house? Does it have resale appeal to future buyers? The best home accommodates life changes. Don't rush. This is a major decision. It's easy to feel pressure. There's a lot. I mean, we just talked about a lot of stuff, especially in competitive markets. It can get added stress to it. But you need to decide now or lose it. Someone else might make an offer. Interest rates might go up. That's all noise. But buying a home is one of the biggest financial and lifestyle decisions you'll make. Take the time to think it through carefully. Rushing, it may lead to regret. Sleep on it. If it's meant to be, it's going to be. If you're torn between two properties, give yourself at least one night to sleep on it. Maybe you can set up a second showing at them. Your subconscious processes information overnight. You might wake up with clarity you didn't have the day before. Some of the best decisions come after sleeping on them. Talk it through. Discuss everything with your partner, with your family, or a trusted friend, and your real estate agent. What are your concerns about each property? What excites you? What keeps you coming back to bringing it back to your mind? Can you picture actual life there? Can you picture kids growing up there? Can you picture being an empty nester there? Sometimes talking about it out loud reveals what you really think. Trust your gut, but verify with data. Your instincts do matter. If something is off about the property, even if you can't pinpoint exactly what it is, listen to that feeling. If you walk in and you immediately feel this is the home, that matters too. But don't let emotion override practical concerns. Make sure your gut feeling aligns with your score and research. Excitement is good, but desperation is bad. The reality check questions. Before you make an offer, ask yourself this. Does this meet my must-haves? All of them. Can I afford it comfortably? Not technically. Do I see myself happy here in 5 years? Are there any red flags that I'm ignoring? Am I settling because I'm tired of looking? Would I regret passing on this? Am I choosing this for the right reasons? If you answered no to any of these, pump the brakes. What if you still don't know? It's okay. If you've seen multiple homes and you can't decide, revisit your top 2 choices. See them again with fresh eyes. Bring a friend or a family member. Take your time and really envision living there. Ask your agent to pull detailed comps. Which is the better value? Which has the best appreciation potential? Consider which home solves the most problems. Not which is perfect, because none are. Which addresses your most important needs. Sometimes the answer is neither. Maybe you need to keep looking. Maybe you need to adjust your criteria or your budget, and that's okay. Don't force a square block into a round hole. You have to trust the process. Most buyers find their home within 3 to 6 months of serious searching. Sometimes it's the first house you see. Sometimes it's the 30th. There's no perfect timeline. There's only the right timeline for you. When you know, you will know. You will feel it. And at some point, you'll see a house and you'll think, this is it. This is the one. I can see my life here. It won't be perfect because no house is, but it'll be right for you right now. When that clarity hits, trust it and move forward with confidence. The worst decision is making no decision because you're paralyzed by fear of making a decision or making the wrong one. Now let's bring all this together because we've talked about so much, right? We've covered the complete showing process from planning your strategy to making your final decision. Now, let's recap kind of what you've learned. Planning your showings. See no more than 4 to 5 houses per day to avoid overwhelming. Research properties before you visit. Prepare your showing bag and your mindset. If you're going to bring kids, make sure you set those expectations ahead of time and clearly. Pack entertainment and snacks. Build in breaks for everyone's sanity. Use the one house rule when possible. Do the initial showings without kids. The final choice with kids. Okay. What to look for during the showings. We talked about looking past staging to evaluate the bones in the systems. Checking the structure, the HVAC, plumbing, electrical, roof. Evaluate layout and flow for your lifestyle. Test everything. Faucets, toilets, windows, lights. Trust your senses, your smell, your feel, your sight, your touch. Take photos and notes. The critical what not to say rule, right? Never reveal your budget, your enthusiasm, your timeline, or your plans. Keep conversations neutral and vague. Save real discussions for the car or private moments with your agent. Everything you say can cost you in negotiations. We talked about the scoring system. Score every house immediately after you view it. Use consistent categories, condition, location, layout, etc. Review your scores at day's end and eliminate low scores. Keep your list focused on 3 to 5 contenders. We talked about evening and weekend visits. Seeing neighborhoods when residents are actually home is important. Check noise levels, parking, traffic, and safety. Test your actual rush hour commute. Visit multiple times at different times. Don't skip the step. It reveals critical information. We talked about researching the area. We talked about investigating schools and childcare, even without children. Assess daily conveniences and amenities. Check future development plans. Look for signs of growth or decline. And then we talked about making your decision. Compare your scores and your research. Look at it objectively. Consider 5 and 10-year timelines, not just today. Don't rush. Sleep on major decisions. Trust your gut, but verify with data. Ask yourself the reality check questions. The showing process is more than just looking at houses. It's about gathering information systemically, right? Evaluating properties objectively, keeping your negotiation leverage, understanding neighborhoods deeply, and making confident, informed decisions. Buyers who follow this process, they save time by staying organized. They save money by maintaining negotiation power. They avoid regret through doing research, and they make confident decisions backed by the data. The showing phase should be exciting, not exhausting. Yes, it takes effort and requires discipline and patience, but approaching it systemically and strategically transforms house hunting from a stressful blur into an organized, even enjoyable process. You're not just passively looking at houses, you're actively evaluating investments and making one of the biggest decisions of your life with confidence and clarity. In this video, if you found it helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe, because we're just getting started. In the next video, we're driving into making that offer, how to run a comparative market analysis, crafting a winning offer, negotiating like a pro, handling counter offers, and what to do once you get your house under contract. Do me a favor, drop a comment and let me know. How many houses have you toured or you want to tour so far? What's the biggest challenge during showings that you've had? What's the weirdest thing you've seen at a showing? I read every comment and I am here to help. Thank you for watching, and remember, the perfect house doesn't exist, but the right house for you does. These strategies help you find it without the overwhelming stress or the costly mistakes. Take your time, stay organized, and trust the process. Trust yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.